Canadian.
Yeah. You kind of came in there real polite. Oh, real polite.
Real polite. Yeah.
Oh,
Hey
hello.
there. I don't know. We kind of started a little preamble with it, so I thought we kind of go into it. But
Yeah.
good to see you, brother. We're back. I
Hey.
know for this one, we'll probably jump in. We're on episode 5 now, believe it or not. I know
We're
we've
just,
done a bunch of recording sessions now, and
mhm.
so we're really just cranking through them. But
Yeah.
for this one, wanted to kind of break it up. We'll do a little week 1 recap, kind of chat about what's going on, what you were seeing week 1, any kind of fantasy stuff you saw, any kind of storylines, anything going crazy like that. And then we'll kind of fall back into maybe some week 2 stuff, figure out, do some predictions there. Maybe we'll dip into some fills. I know we were going to chat about that a little bit, maybe before we
Yeah.
even
Some
get to the week
Phillies.
2.
Yeah.
And then we had some busy weekends too. We'll jump into that and go from there. But how's it going? How's the week been so far?
Good week. Hand up accountability here. Reason we're doing this on a Wednesday instead of a Sunday. Alex had a bit of a long weekend. I'm talking in third person. That's how long it
Oh
was.
yeah,
Had a wedding to go to.
yeah, it did.
A dear friend of ours. Jake had a little surprise for the bride and groom there. We can talk about that later. A little foreshadowing for the end of the
I
pod
love
here.
it. I love it. I thought we were going to get in a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a good but long
Yeah, man.
weekend. So battle tested and bruised, kind of recovering here on a Wednesday. Phillies are
I love it.
playing. They're winning right now, but and we can
There
dive
you
into
go.
that later too. But yeah, how are you? How are you doing, brother?
Good, good. Yeah, I didn't have the. I know I had the fun little present or whatever to Max and Devin. That was lovely. But then
Mm-hmm.
I ended up doing some wedding venue lockdown stuff this past weekend myself. So I had
Mm-hmm.
Mom and Spice in town. They were hanging out. We as per ritual, they came into town Friday night at like 8. And that means whenever that happens, we drink wine and whiskey until 1 in the morning,
Yeah.
almost every single time.
Now, did you watch videos of tectonic plates shifting? At all?
Not this time. Not this time. We didn't dive in as much into that. A lot of wedding chat. We got to sip some wine. We were just
Mm.
going to the rehearsal dinner. We got some pizza. It was nice. It was really nice.
Well, that's great. Yeah, you get the venue for the rehearsal dinner and
Mm-hmm.
just getting all that together.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Little speakeasy action. It should be fun.
Very fun.
It's locked down. It'll be very fun. We got the meals there, but all right. Well, with that, we'll jump in. I mean, I guess we can kind of go in. Do you want to just start with the birds? I mean, that was the first one, and I know we haven't got a chance to chat birds
Oh,
yet, Alex. I
lot of
mean,
stuff.
and
You're sending me text.
Spitgate.
Yeah. We wow. Well, we haven't talked in a while.
I
It was
know.
it
I
was
know. I've been chomping at the bit for this.
just holding it all in. There's been a lot of news, personnel
Huh?
as well. The game itself, obviously, Dallas lightning happened, and there's weather delays. We should start at Spitgate, though. That's where it
We
all
have to.
starts.
That's
Just
where it
like
all starts. Well,
just
we go ahead.
Oh, I know
No,
where
you
you
go
want to
ahead.
start. Before that, no, I already know what you're going to say. Is you're going to talk about Ben Van
Yeah,
Sumeren getting
Surin, the
injured.
guy.
We,
Yep.
so if if you've been listening to us for all the other episodes that we haven't released, then you know that. Okay, yeah, yeah, we soft launched. It was a soft launch, and we were like really dying on this hill that the Eagles are going to revive the fullback position, like Jeffrey Lurie said.
Philosophically changed the game.
And it was all hinged upon Ben Van Sumeren having a 92 speed in Madden, like you said.
Our first proposed guest is
Yeah,
what
we were
said.
like, we're going to be the fullback podcast, and because it's a dying breed, we're gonna
Alex,
come after it.
we're like the Madden
Jake.
curse. We're like the Yardley curse.
Well, who should? Well,
We'll have to see. We'll have to come up. So now we have to have another one for week 2. We have to have another one.
Yeah, let's get out the voodoo doll. Let's get out the doll. Let's put the pin right in the heart of whatever player we want to try to give a platform to.
But yes, I do want to start right there because that was the first play. I'm lathered up. We're at a buddy's house. He's hosting. We're having a great time. The
Mm-hmm.
game is finally. They do the huge. I think it was it Boys to Men did
It's
the
always
ceremony.
boys to men, Jake. It's always boys to men
It's
in Philly,
always
baby.
Boys to Men, and we went from Boys to Men on those first two plays because man, Van Sumeren just immediately injured, and there's this daze. There's a quick commercial break. Everyone is watching
It's a
the
special teams
NFL
play.
season
The
kickoff.
first
Yeah,
kickoff of the whole NFL season.
yeah. He gets hurt, and everyone's kind of going, okay, there's chatter. Someone's grabbing another drink, whatever. We come
Guinness.
back, and
Definitely
then
Guinness. Was it Ken getting another
definitely
Guinness?
yes.
Yeah, it
We
was.
were getting into it. Yeah. We got up to cruising altitude, a couple of JMO shots. Anyway, we
Not
got
a
in there.
sponsor. Not a sponsor yet.
Not a sponsor. No free ads. And yeah, we end up coming back after the injury, and there's a penalty. And we're like, what's going on? What goes on? And then you just see this spit, and he just spit, and everyone just going, oh my God, this is scum. And then AJ immediately texting. That guy,
Ugh. Giants
he's
fan.
just
He's our Giants friend. Best friend.
he's getting into it.
Ugh.
I don't know. So what are your thoughts? I saw some of the group text. I saw what you were thinking, but
Well,
that was
okay.
kind
So
of it
my
unfolding.
experience was I talked about the wedding that Thursday, the day of the game, was sort of like the after rehearsal cocktail hour. So I was very
Right.
distracted when it happened. So
Right,
my
of
perspective of Spitgate was it was very loud, very noisy, couldn't see anything, didn't even know Jalen Carter was out of the game yet.
Yeah.
I just saw the like Zapruder film that came out like 2 hours later when they're like Dak spit first. Dak spit first.
Yeah.
And so that was
yeah.
my first reaction to it was why is Dak spitting? Oh, Jalen Carter. Oh, he's out of the game. That's why he got kicked out of the game because I had heard he got kicked out of the game. Somebody said
But you're at a
spitting.
bar. You're at a loud
Noisy,
bar. Yeah.
noisy stuff's happening. Yeah, people. Hey, I haven't seen you in years. How are you? How are you? It's someone's mom that I hadn't seen for years. And so my perspective of it was very confused. And then I dove in like the next day. I like dove in, and
I compete.
I'll tell you what. I saw the video. Dak spit between his linemen, and then he laughed at him. You saw that little laugh, the little hyena laugh. Oh, he was
a little hyena. Yeah.
And so he was definitely provoking. He cast his reel. He put out the bait. And Carter, immature, I think, took the bait. He took the bait and he spat back. That's where you got to be a veteran.
Never spat back.
You never spat
Never
back.
spat back.
Never spat back. And
you just can't do it. Apparently, some things were going around as well about Jalen Carter. He's been next to Brandon Graham for his first few seasons here, and he's learning from that. And he's just constantly motor mouth trying to get in the heads. And apparently, he was talking a lot of trash to the rookie guard for Dallas. And so
Tyler, right?
Yeah. And he's trying to get in his head. And so he was trying to get in the head of him. And Dak is apparently defending this guy, which is why he does the hyena kind of thing and then baits him. Carter loses. The first thing I said as I'm surrounded, I'm in enemy territory, Giants fans, Commanders fans, I had Dallas fans. And first thing I said is fix is on. The fix is on. Jerry, he traded Parsons. He needs the NFL to come through with him and to make sure their cash cow is okay. And the fix is in, and it's a huge ordeal. But I'll tell you what, the whole time I was just like, it's scummy. It's very scummy. Can't do that. That's brutal. But I'll tell you, third quarter rolls around, lightning break, and they have this additional footage that they didn't release prior, and they presumably never would have if it wasn't for the break. But they then release the footage, and you see Dak, you see the hyena thing, and boy, did I about face? Did I I go from pretty scummy to this scumbag over here, and so. Yeah, and there was a lot more Guinness at that point. So, Yeah,
Yeah.
quick about turn, but
You got on your high horse, I bet. I bet you got on your high horse. That's it. And we've done all this talking, and that's even before the first snap on defense, right? Like
I
then the
know.
game happens after all this, and they drive down, and you're thinking, "Gosh, I wish we had our best defensive player." Wish we had, wish we had our best defensive player because the boys, it looked like they were not stopping a whole lot
No.
in the first half.
It's exactly, I mean, we talked a lot about the roster and the roster cuts and what everyone looks, where the strengths were, weaknesses, and people we lost and rookies we got, that type of stuff. And um man, we talked about cornerback too, and that was immediately just like they had this huge penalty yardage
Mm-hmm.
and they just go right at Adoree like two or three times. It felt like just off the jump.
Peppering them, just
Yeah.
peppering them.
Yeah, and just going after him, and it's definitely gonna be, it's one of those things where it's like, at least we know the problem, and it's like you could just, like, shade people or, like, disguise stuff and figure it out, but, it is definitely a problem. It's not like a, we could just play straight up kinda thing like last year, and, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Vic Fangio, we had this slow start last year as well. Everyone was like, "I don't know, this is," we were 2-2. We had the bye week, and everyone was just kind of like, "This defense isn't that great, whatever." And then they just turned it on. And I think there's something to be said about, like, you have to, like, establish tendencies and set up bait and things like that. Like, at the end of the day, they got the win. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's on tape? Well, they both know the opponent and the defense, and they can set up and get stuff going for next time. So I'm still bullish on the defense as a whole. I think the defense is going to be really good. It's just there was some chinks in the armor, and honestly, after the Lightning break, the defense really buttoned up. There was really not much going on.
Both teams seemed in more of a malaise. It seemed like they both were just trying to sit on the ball, trying to have the ball last. Um, to
Yeah.
your point,
Yes.
prior to that, I think what took a while as well for the secondary in the last year in the first 4 weeks. Obviously, Cooper DeJean comes in around that time, but them learning the system, learning the communication on the back end, and getting comfortable with communicating because Makuba played a lot. I think that was something
Yeah.
we didn't fully anticipate was how much he would play. He played a lot more than Sidney Brown as far as snap counts. And so I think once Makuba has over the top that help and the leverage that Adoree Jackson can trust, that second cornerback that we're talking about, maybe that'll clean up some of the way he's giving leverage, the way he's using the sideline. He can feel a little bit more comfortable with his help over top. And then also the pieces inside. Jahad Campbell looks so exciting. He was covering. He looks like Zach Bond out there. It looks like we have two Zach Bonds in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
I'm pretty bullish on the middle of this defense. It is just kind of the outside boundary, like a really good wide receiver, not matched up on Quinion. I think could have a big day against us, but I don't think that necessarily means we lose the game.
And I do want to put this out here. A lot of people preseason have sold all of their Keely Ringo stock. They are out. I quietly in the background have been purchasing Keely Ringo stock. And the reason's this: Adoree Jackson to me is the perfect, just exact replica of what happened last year with a free agent veteran, just like Huff. Huff comes in and you have all this attention. You're like, what's going on with the edge? We lose Reddick. What are we doing? We have no edge. Everyone's like, that's a hole. We have to do something about it. And then you pay all this money for Huff, and everyone's yelling at Huff. Meanwhile, Nolan Smith gets to have a breakout season. Same with Jalix Hunt. And they both get to have and they're not being swarmed by the media. I quietly love this Jackson attention, so we could get some of the other guys to just quietly, like, they come in relief, and it doesn't even matter if they do poorly at that point because people already know Adoree Jackson wasn't doing well. It's not, it's just so they just have less of a spotlight on them. So I like that. I also like McWilliams,
Mac
the other
McWilliams.
Mac.
Can I just say I like your strategy? It's almost like an investing strategy of the stock that you're buying. Your dollar cost averaging Keely Ringo stock,
Yes.
whether it's
Yeah.
high, whether it's low, you're
Yeah.
still buying and you're getting the
Yeah.
average of that stock price no matter what. And now
True.
it seems pretty cheap right now to buy.
Very cheap. Very cheap as you can get it.
Hmm.
And I think it's a fun thing to monitor. I think he'll actually play, and I think there'll be some other people. There's also rumblings of a Denzel Ward trade. Have you heard of this?
No, love that because I mean we can talk about. Do you want to get into speaking of edge, speaking of new players that could help the defense?
We could start dipping in. I think we're gonna just kind of dive deep into the birds, and then we could kind of give our broader, umbrella of storylines. But yeah, they get Zadarius Smith, and they trade for Tank Bigsby.
Big
Crazy.
stuff. Yeah, big stuff. Now the Zadarius Smith one, it seems like great depth piece. He's not at the point of his career. I think he's 33 years old. He's not at the point of his career where he's like a huge impact player, but I think like 15 to 20 snaps a game, maybe even like 10 to 15 on rushing downs or early downs to spell some of these guys. I think that's great. Seems like just like a kind of carbon copy, a couple years younger than Brandon Graham, a bigger, older veteran edge rusher that, can really set an edge pretty on a good foundation. And then unfortunately, the news I heard about Tank Bigsby, or the reason we got him, is I guess Will Shipley may have hurt his
Mm-hmm.
rib. So
Yep.
I think it's to kind of get that. So not good to hear about Will Shipley, but love the Tank Bigsby pickup. I think
Yeah.
both of these moves, I'm pretty warm on the Zadarius Smith one. Hopefully he's got a little bit left in the tank. And I'd say even warmer or even hot even on a Tank Bigsby as your backup running back with AJ Dillon, maybe
Mm-hmm.
even kick returning capability for Tank Bigsby. So I like that. I like both of them.
He reminds me of a more souped up younger Dylan. So I feel like he's Dylan with a little bit more legs, and maybe Dylan becomes more of, or Tank become more of the Van Sumeren kind of role, and just kind of spelling some of the responsibility there. Maybe one
Mm-hmm.
of them, and I know the tight ends kind of dipped into that responsibility, but I think
Mm-hmm.
between the two of them, they'll have to kind of pick up some of that slack. So maybe that's part of it as well. But that's the great thing I think so far is it seems like he can do a lot with the kick returns. I know that was talked about. To me, that felt like a smokescreen. Like I think he'll be good at that. He'll be good, but I think it was more of the Shipley, and I think they just like him a lot.
I
So
also, speaking of the kick return, oh, sorry, go ahead. Did you have a last point there? Sorry.
that was it. That was it. I think he'll be a pretty good versatile player. I think it's just good business to pick him up. That it might have been, I don't know if it was a little bit expensive or not, but he was drafted in the second or third round anyway. Yeah, I think it was a third rounder, and they gave up a fifth and sixth. Still has 2 more years on the deal, so I think it's a pretty good low risk type of deal.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, fifth and sixth. That's right. And he's like you said, rookie contract, finishing 2 years on. And I think the thing that was exciting about him as well is he didn't really get like full time carries with Etienne in Jacksonville. He didn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of mileage on him. I feel like he's still got fresh young legs. And then also, like you said, like Kyle Granson, that third tight end was kind of becoming the fullback because Van Sumeren got hurt. We'll see what they do there. Had not, like you said, gone back, had not heard anything about Denzel Ward, but love that kind of
Mhm.
trade. Seems interesting to me. Mm,
That would
Yeah.
be an absolute blockbuster. I mean, I know there were reports that Howie was even trying to get in the Parsons trade.
Hmm.
So he's not shying away from any blockbuster, obviously, with some of the moves he's done in the past as well. And then I think with Denzel, they played each other in the preseason. And so it might have been, joint practices as well. So there was some up close observations with both teams and players. So they're relatively familiar with Denzel, and he's kind of at that point, like 28 or so, where
Hmm.
that's kind of where they got Slay.
Right. Right.
Slay they kind of picked up, and he was like a top 5 corner,
Hmm.
and he's at his prime and about to decline, at least seemingly. and then they got, 4 more years out of him. And I feel like Denzel could be that exact same thing. I'd have to look up what they gave up for Darius Slay. And maybe I can do that right now, but it might have been a free agency even.
Might have been a free agency. But he was an all pro at that point, Slay was. And I don't know, it's like it depends. We have a lot of fifth round picks. We've kind of shed a couple of them with these sort of early trades. The Mechie one comes into play as well if we have Mechie. Also, you had mentioned sort of the kick returning for Tank Bigsby. I kind of like Jahan Dotson doing that, getting him some more time on the field. John Dotson, I think, is going to have a real upgrade to his role. And so if he can kind of get punt returning, kick returning duties, I think that's kind of an upgrade. I don't know. I don't think we had great kick returning and punt returning. I think it was just more last year. Like Cooper DeJean was good and he had a couple big plays, but it was most of the time I felt like more conservative. It wasn't like a huge like boon for the team. So that would be cool if we had Jahan Dotson doing that as our third receiver. We are going to be talking about fantasy at some point here. And speaking of sort of like fantasy and Eagles, me and Ken were just having a rough time watching this game because we both have AJ Brown on our fantasy team, and he didn't get a
Oh,
catch until the end of the game. 1 8-yard catch.
yeah.
That's my second
Yeah.
pick in fantasy, not inner excellence.
It's That's brutal. Yeah, I know there was, I think speaking of who was it? The, Neighbors looked like he was young on the sidelines as well, another first rounder. There was a lot of first rounders, like Brian Thomas. He
Hmm.
he had 1 catch, but he luckily got a rushing touchdown on an
Wow.
end around. So there was a lot of receivers that underperformed, but I just think it's week 1. People are kind of feeling each other out. There's just like trying new pieces, that type of thing. I think with the number 1 receivers, they're kind of like, we know what we have with you, and we're just gonna be trying some other stuff, I get some other tendencies, and then we'll rely on you when we need you. That's the sense I'm getting. I don't know. That's just reading me from the couch. But to backtrack really quickly for the Denzel Ward,
Hmm.
when they got Darius Slay, he was coming off a Pro Bowl, and they traded a um 23rd rounder and a 5th rounder.
Okay.
So a third and a fifth to get and he was 7 years in the league at that point, which I think is almost spot on with Denzel Ward, it seems like.
Wow. Has
So,
he
I
been in the
mean,
league 7 years already? Denzel has?
it's 28. So I'm
Wow.
assuming close to that.
It was just yesterday I was doing a Madden franchise and he was a young rookie that I was developing. It was just
Oh, I
yesterday,
know.
you
And
know?
it's funny because that those he was a part of the Browns core with like Garrett. Like he's been with Garrett his whole career.
Hmm.
Both of those guys, along with others, even Njoku, I think even some of the offensive linemen, like they were the ones that they had all those first rounders.
Mm.
And it was like, this team is going to be set up. And then they just traded for
Deshaun
Watson
Watson. Yeah.
and just ruined they just tanked the whole thing.
They thought that was their
In just
last
one
piece.
fell swoop.
Yeah.
That was like they got rid of all their picks and all their cap room. And then it was just like a death sentence.
You could do, I think, a college thesis on those like 3 to 4 years of the Browns of building the foundation, really being diligent with all of your draft picks, hitting on a lot of them, being really savvy with your cap management and your acquiring of picks and all your resources, and the way they just blew it all on
Yeah.
a guy that had sort of a nefarious background. They gave
Yeah.
a baseball contract to.
Yeah.
Literally,
Fully
the
guaranteed.
yeah, the agent I think is one of the best agents, and I think he does other sports, and I think it was maybe a basketball or like styled in the way of like a baseball contract. Just ridiculous. The
Yeah.
most guaranteed money. It's like players fight tooth and nail for like an extra 5 million guaranteed. He got like 100 and some million guaranteed and had
There
just
was
nothing.
There was this one play, just whenever I think of Watson, it's like the last good memory of Watson where he's kind of running and he was, I mean, might have to explain it a bit because people don't remember what he was like when he played, but he used to run around a pretty decent amount and he was scrambling, got some yardage, and they're playing the Chiefs. And he got run out of bounds, and his momentum takes him over to the bench, and he ends up sitting next to Patrick Mahomes, middle of the game. Like the middle of the game, and the two of them are sitting next to each other, and the commentary goes on along something along the lines of like, right there are two guys that's about $500 million because of their contracts.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
together they were there, and they looked like the future of the league, the two of them. And it was just this moment that, like, it's the last good moment I remember of Watson before just everything blew up in his face and he went into complete irrelevance.
Yeah. A
Just
real Ben Simmons, where he gets the big contract and then just stops playing the sport.
And look at us. Just, we're a little bit into the podcast already, and we've gotten through half a game, and we've gone down into 5 years old of Browns lore. So
And I
I think
snuck in a
we're on a
Ben
good
Simmons
pace.
reference. We're cooking. Yeah, we are cooking. We're cooking with
We're
gasoline.
cooking with gas right
No,
now.
no, I'm looking in the rearview mirror. Should we back this thing up and maybe get back on the road here?
Yeah, I think we should.
Back this
I
thing
think
up.
we should back on up. See what's back there.
Oh, sorry, I blacked out. I just came to. Oh yeah.
Whoops,
Let's go back to the rundown. Let's go back to the rundown.
Back into my 2015 Browns info. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, probably not that long ago, but anyway, it was, I think, on a more broader scale. The Eagles, they did look. I'll tell you what, Hurts looked awesome. Hurts looked incredible. That's like the guy. I don't know. Like, there was maybe 2 years ago when he wasn't running the same way, and he was dealing with an injury when the team collapsed.
Yeah.
And what I remembered with Hurts when he first came on the scene was he had such a floor for keeping an offense on pace ahead of the sticks, because he could just get you like 5-6 yards whenever he wanted on these little rollouts and scrambles, and it kind of disappeared. But man, this game was like one of his better versions of just kind of like rolling around, getting, navigating the pocket. I mean, it helped that they had no pass rush because Parsons isn't there. That definitely helped, but he did look quick as well.
And it seemed like he knew MJ was in the building. He's obviously an MJ athlete. He had a meeting with MJ, and it was a big thing, kind of photo op over the summer. So he probably knew he was going to be at the game. Over his first touchdown, he does the shrug. He does the MJ shrug.
Very fun.
You could see he wanted to kind of take over and not lose this game.
Yeah.
Nowhere close to being any fumbles, no interception. He doesn't put anybody at risk. He doesn't throw hospital balls like Dak gets a lot of praise for. We're like, oh, he really fit that in a tight window, and then they're like carting off his second team tight end. So I don't know. I feel like he gets a lot of hate because he does keep the ball out of harm's way. It's kind of boring to watch if you're not a fan of the team.
Yeah.
But it's super, like, what are his plays? He runs it. He keeps you ahead of the sticks, and he has a play that's like 99% effective that the league wants to ban. So those are his plays that he's known for, and it's kind of like ugly, doesn't matter, but I just win games, and that's all I do. So think the league.
And Saquon, I was just going to say, Saquon too just looked, man, what a pro. Like, both of those guys together are just like such floor raisers. Like, man, now having watched a full season of Saquon, he has some of the nicest like 3-yard runs that should be like 3-yard losses. And he's getting 6 yards, but man, it's just like, it takes so much energy and effort for him to like juke, spin, side hop, and then lunge and push forward to get like 2 or 3 yards. But man, he does it so consistently. It's so helpful.
How about that?
So helpful.
To your point, how about that check down when he catches a little check down from Jalen? Is it the pocket's breaking down? One-handed catch. Yep, one-handed catch, jukes outside, stiff arms that guy in the face down, and then just puts his shoulder down and fights for the first down. You're like, wow, that was just a little dump-off emergency check down, and he just makes it look like a first down and just demoralizes that cornerback there. really hurts him for the next play, his soul, it hurts his
Ah,
confidence.
and Hurts had a really solid, like, he gets crushed as he's throwing that. He kinda rolls and, like, gets some space and then throws that to get it off. So, that was a great play. That was a really fun one.
Mhm.
But, yeah, I mean, CD ate him up, and then,
100
it's funny
yards. He
because
did have 107 yards, I believe, for CD, but maybe
yeah,
yeah,
100,
mhm,
110. But, yeah, it's funny because it was 24-20, but they did feel in control. Like, they felt in control the whole game. It was
mhm,
just kind of like, okay, that corner 2, the defense looked terrible the first half, and then they kinda settled in. Um, and obviously, no Carter, and then that cornerback too. So
yeah,
those 2 things. Jordan Davis looked way better, which was cool.
mhm,
Felt like he had a solid game, but outside of that game, how was did you Sunday? Did you end up getting
yeah.
into did
Now
you
I
do the
know
red zone or what'd you do?
yeah, now this is fun, was that, with, our dad and Dar for the game and, had Carlos come over as well, and
That's right,
so,
yeah.
it was very funny to see dad and Dar try to get I have here, it says boomer cable, and so what I mean
Yeah.
by that is they're trying to get the games on, and I think I've grown so accustomed to YouTube TV and Red
Mm.
Zone. I paid for it just so I can have it on my phone, literally nothing else, just Sunday Ticket and Red Zone so I can have it on my phone, and the convenience of throwing it up on their TV, it blew Dar's mind. It blew her mind
I don't doubt it.
right out the back of her head. She was so excited to see the 4 boxes of and
Yep.
this is our stepmom who's in her 60s, and
Mhm.
she clearly had never seen YouTube TV before, nor had she seen Red Zone. So explaining all of this to her was she was like a little kid. When dad came home, when he kind of came home, he became like a little kid because I brought it outside to another TV. I stopped the cast and I threw it up on another TV in the backyard and threw it up there, all sitting out there. And they're like, whoa, this is wild. And I was like, so this is Red Zone. This is Scott Hansen. To make it even crazier, we had 4 boxes, so 3 different games, and then the 4th one was
Red
Red
zone.
Zone. So it
Oh,
was
yeah.
it was like blowing their mind that the 4th box was going in and out of different boxes of NFL games. And
Yeah.
it was like overload. They were snacking so fast because they were trying to keep up. He's just eating and like, oh my God, wow. Look, did you see what happened in that one? Look at the top left one. Wow. Wow. And then like we're listening to Scott Hansen and go, he's really excited. Wow. And so it was great to experience Red Zone for the first time again, through their eyes. Through their
That's
eyes.
beautiful. That's
Now,
beautiful.
did you have a similar kind of Scott Hansen
Well,
refresh?
I kinda led with the, the wedding and driving, and we got we were up really late Friday night. We're going,
Hmm.
we drive down 2 hours. We're doing the wedding planning. We're drinking wine. So by Sunday, really run down. And
Yeah.
so I end up just getting the big setup in our living room, and it's just kind of a chill reset kind of day. But it was nice because I kind of had the laptop with the fantasy football. I had the red zone going,
Did you
and
do what's it called? The pod or the box? What do you guys call it with the couches?
the cube.
The cube. Did you
The
do the cube?
cube. We certainly did. We
Good.
certainly did.
Good. Good.
Because, yeah, we had the parents staying over, so they stayed in the cube, which is just our L couch comes detached. You can push it together, and it's this big cube
So
where you
comfy.
can and we throw down a mattress pad topper and whatever. So, yeah, Lisa and I are in the cube, and we're watching Red Zone. Got the
Great.
laptop or whatever. She's messing around with wedding stuff as well, and man, but I'll tell you, nothing I had Bijan Robinson in the
Mm-hmm.
first play of the
Mm,
entire season.
mm.
They just break to the Falcons game, little dump down, and I'm just yelling, "Go Bijan!" And he had that, what was it, 50, 60-yard screen he just took to the
Caught it.
house. And I thought, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to score 200 points. I'm going to
Yeah.
score
No,
200
your
points in fantasy
team.
football.
Yeah.
Uh, and here's the thing that was so frustrating was Andrew then goes, you know, lights out. He's making all these comments in the group text.
It's
Everyone's
always
fired
Andrew.
up.
I know. I
It's
played him.
always
I
Andrew.
was getting direct
And
text from him. Oh yeah.
I'll tell you what. Then after that, the team just slowly declined, and I remembered what fantasy football really was, which is just like praying and just watching the projection just slowly dip down to levels you didn't think were conceivable during the week. During the
Mm-mm.
week, you had a steady projection, and you're like, "This is what it's going to be about, plus or minus," and it just plummets.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. I had a couple of guys really let me down.
Well,
Bijan was great, but
Joe Burrow, your
Burrow,
team is Joe
yeah,
Burrow and Chase Brown,
Burrow.
right? I remember looking at your team, and you're right. In the first 5 minutes of red zone of football Sunday, Bijan, I believe it was Chase Brown. Did you
Hmm.
have Trey
I had
McBride?
Bijan. Uh,
It was
so
a receiver
Chase
scored.
Brown had a nice touchdown. Oh, Kamara had a touchdown.
Kamara, yeah, in your flex.
Kamara had
You
a
had
touchdown.
three really early touchdowns, and your team did look like they were going to score 200 points right away.
Uh,
And then it just felt like they just pumped the brakes and said, "We're kind of done. We're kind
the
of
big
done
thing
here."
that really crushed me, I think, like more than anything, I mean, Burrow definitely, he was pretty disappointing. But the second thing was, I thought the Steelers defense on the Jets, I thought that game, I thought this was going to be, I mean, the Russian quarterback is what you can really never game plan for. They can really break defenses. And
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
thought this defense, we talked it up so much. The Steelers and the Ravens, you and
Yeah.
I. I
Yep.
mean,
We
I
did.
was the advocate. I was pushing, but yeah. Oh my gosh, that game was the one that was like everyone was like, Brees Hall's a bum. You know, like he's terrible. And then after this game, you're like, holy shit, that's right. Garrett Wilson and Fields played in college together. I forgot.
Yep.
I
Yep.
forgot. The touchdown comes through and you're like, that's right. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was eye opening to me. I was like, it was so simple, of course.
I realized I had hitched my wagon to two rookie running backs, and I had a Marion Hampton. He finished with 8.1, and Harvey on the Broncos gets 7.9. Now, those are my two worst performers. I have this thing where I don't have anyone really to blame other than myself because all of my players did pretty good. They got like to their floor, but nobody had like one of those big breakout games. Nobody had over 20, nobody had over like 15, but everybody had over 10, So
Mm,
nobody killed me, but they all didn't go out and get it for me. So I think it might just run back the whole, and it was a slow and steady meandering Sunday for me. It wasn't like, oh, we had this big play. I had Jordan Love do pretty good, but not great. Justin Jefferson on Monday night, I needed him to get 50 points to try to win me the game. And he just was nowhere to be found. He was my first
yeah.
round pick. He was nowhere to be found. Drake London, very similarly. Mike Evans, my kind of three major. I just thought they'd be touchdown guys. I thought they'd all be red zone, big
Well,
touchdown guys.
I think when you've got those rookie running backs, you just have to unfortunately kind of wait for things to pan out,
I think it will.
And it's like
I think it will.
I'm at a point right now where, we're in the league with the LA guys together and we've got the free agent bidding. How you liking that? Do you like that? This is your first
Well,
time doing it.
Well, at least for that league, so I should say I'm in three leagues. One that we've been doing for almost 2 decades. Our family league, which I just beat your fiance by like 2 points.
She was very upset.
Good,
Yeah, she was very
good,
upset with Buffalo's defense.
good.
Buffalo's defense was
Yeah.
she was really hanging on to some she was
Mark
trying to ask me
Andrews
about
didn't
the
do anything.
situations.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Mark Andrews versus Buffalo defense that night. Yeah. Um, but to your point, the LA League, I sent this GIF to Casey. We were playing each other, and it is those drag cars that go straight, just in one direction, and they
Yeah.
go really, really
Sure.
fast all at once. So this GIF is a drag racer. Just it goes maybe 2-3 meter or 2 or 3 feet, and then the wheels just explode off. They just explode off right as they're starting the race. And
Yeah.
that was my fantasy team. We ended with 66 points, the last in the whole league, Jake. So
By a bit of a margin. By a bit
I,
of a
to,
margin.
I told myself I can't answer anything in that group chat until I play another game and I get this stain off
The
of my
stench.
record. Because if I talk any crap in that group chat, somebody's gonna look up the score and they're gonna bring it up. And then I don't want that. And I don't want that. I don't want that. Art of War, Sun Tzu would say, appear weak when you are strong. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Appear strong when you're weak, appear weak when you're strong.
Exactly.
So I'm just appearing very weak, is all. And so it's all, week one, I was trying to get the waiver order. I did put a $0 bid because your original question was how is the bidding? I didn't even put a bid in. Maybe I should have. Did you put in a bid? Did you
We
get
doing
Hollywood Brown?
$0?
Yeah, just a zero
No,
dollar thing.
I no, that was a different league that I have Hollywood Brown, but I ended up kind of waiting. I put a couple bids in. I actually bidded for Fields.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little I even said I'm kicking myself because there was a few people I liked where it was kind of between Herbert, Drake May, McCarthy, Fields were like the
Mm-hmm.
guys that I was considering week one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wanted to get into this where I'm already overthinking my fantasy roster because this was the league where you and we went late QB, everyone got the draft, and we got to pick from what's left, which there's some really great options.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, who's it going to be? And I already big brained myself. And I have to now look at Justin Herbert, who is power ranked number 2 out of
Mm.
everybody. And he was on my bench. I mean,
Who'd you
now
play?
Drake
Okay.
May,
Drake May.
he was playing Vegas. So I liked the matchup. I thought the Chiefs were going to play a better defense against Herbert. And we talked all offseason about them being such a run heavy team, but the Chiefs are kind of built to stop the run. Now,
Yeah.
in retrospect, I'm realizing this. They're in
Yeah.
the
That
Super
happened
Bowl
almost.
last we saw them
Yep. Got
was
thrown all over. Yeah.
yeah. So hindsight 2020, but yeah, I mean Drake May was fine. Drake May had, like 17 and a half points or something like that. So he was
Mm-hmm.
fine, but obviously it's not going to be the 33. And I got the most points scored on me, so it wouldn't have mattered. Uh,
Yeah.
so I could sleep at night now, which is good.
Yeah.
But I I wanted to ask about the free agent bidding because I'm curious the mentality because I was peeping at like who won some bids and some people were betting like just under 20. I think the highest bid
Mm.
was maybe 20. And Casey looked like he really made some splurges and really did some good buying and selling because I'm seeing some stuff here for I know Strange is there. He picked them up. It looks like he was able to just pick them up for 0, but like Dallas was $1. That was $3, $4, $6, $12. So that was a big buy for Tootin. And then Justin Fields was $14. Quentin Johnson was $15.
Mm-hmm.
And then look at this one, Harold Fannin, $15.
The tight end. That seems like an overpay
Tight
to me. I
end
think he had one good game. I don't know if that's going to
is
continue or not. But
he's a rookie. I like it, but yeah, 15 seems like a lot. And then Hollywood Brown is 18. And then
mm-hmm.
Jared Goff for 20. I think that was the most egregious one, but that's
I dropped him. I believe I dropped him. I had drafted him. I thought he was going to be my backup quarterback, I believe. But you're right. There's a couple different guys that are still around that I feel like I don't need to commit. I have Jordan Love. I don't need to commit to. I still like the backup quarterbacks that are in free agency right now. I'm going to make that decision when I need to. I'm going to keep the roster space for my other backups at the moment.
now I will say this. You're a big listener of the fantasy footballers, right?
Sure.
So they have their whole draft kit and they have their whole like, I think it's like an add-on to like import your league and it'll tell you who to add and drop. I am like 90% sure both Casey and Ken have that. So
Why do you say
I'm
that? Why do you say that?
well, I know for sure they bought the draft one. So when we were at the draft, they
Uh,
had like the now I don't know if they were using it, but they bought all the like stuff around. But
but so they listen to
I
the pod. They're big fans of the pod then, huh?
Casey is, and Ken got turned on to it through Casey. And now I think the both of them are because I didn't put it together until I listened to some of their ads and like talking about their product. But I was like, oh, we will show you the best people to pick up and who to drop and like look at your roster, look at the league and optimize for you. And then I'm looking at the transactions. It's like it's so clearly both Casey and Ken with just these very specific bids,
Mm-hmm.
in there. And I'm just kind of like, okay, well, either they do a lot of free agent bidding in the past, or I think they're really, really leaning on some of this help to kind of guide their decision making with it. But
I
it
like
is
it.
interesting.
I like it, and I like,
I
yeah.
do too. I do too. Yeah. Like if they're gonna go and there's a part of me where I'm kind of like, I'll let people like I want to see the person that accidentally drops and gives up on a good player. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
That always happens in the family league. The family league, it happens like uncles and cousins that don't watch. There's just like they just see someone on bye week and they're like, "Well, I'm done." They haven't
Yep.
done well, and it's like a rookie or something, and you're just like, "All right, well, I'll just get this incredible player." So that happens far less frequently in these other leagues, but
Am
I
I am
do
I
think it
ahead of
will
you?
happen.
Am I ahead of you in waiver wire order for this week? Do you know the family league there? I'm just gonna
Family league. Why are you going to chat a little bit about your?
no, just some
Uh,
of the things you're saying there at waiver wire order. Jake, oh, you're 10th in the order. Okay, good. Okay, good. Were you
yeah, I
trying
think
to get golden? Were you trying to get golden this week? You trying to get golden? Is that who you're
I
talking
was
about?
looking. I was looking at him, but I'll be honest. I wasn't going after him because I've got Addison and Rasheed Rice coming back,
You got a
and
loaded
and
bench,
I've just got too many
log
receivers
jam.
that like I want to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I have Zay Flowers on the bench, Ted
Do you want some
McMillan, Jackson,
insider? You probably don't need them
Nico.
though. I was gonna get if you want insider trading, I'm gonna be giving up Godwin. I'm not gonna Godwin for golden
Wow.
because I have
Yeah,
Igbuka.
that's
Well,
there you go. Yeah, he looked great. He looked really great. Who do you think for you was your most exciting, like, God, this is great. This is my guy. I'm so like I love fantasy football. Who was your biggest high from the weekend?
well, we talked about it briefly. Bijan Robinson in that family league, I took first overall
Yep,
because
me too.
I think we had talked about it that I had gotten luckily just by chance and sheer luck. I got the number one overall pick in two different leagues, and so I went Jamar Chase in one, and then in the other I went Bijan because I did not want Jamar Chase in both. That was at least my thought. It served to help me because Jamar Chase crapped the bed week one. He didn't do anything, but hopefully he gets me like 40 points in a future week. And I just have a lot of people that I'm just like bullish on, but not like I love fantasy. More like the more I learn, the less I know is how I feel about fantasy.
I know. I know. At some point, there's a tipping point where it's like, I think there's like, if you know like nothing, you kind of have this almost this weird advantage of just being able to see like the only things that matter,
Mm-hmm.
like you're not weighed down by other, you know, like
Past performances or yeah.
yeah, irrelevant stats or things like that. And then there's this massive middle ground of like, you know a lot, but you don't know how to categorize it. And then there's this very small bit at the very end where it's like, you know it all and you know how to execute it. And I think
Mm.
you and I are like all the way before that. We're where we know a shit ton of information, but we're just trying to figure out like, okay, but how do we make money on it? Like I think That's the appeal, I think, of fantasy football. Is I think it's like that for a lot of people. I
Hmm.
think most people, it's like that, and it's so unpredictable that that's what's so appealing about fantasy football.
Now,
Is
now you're right. It is appealing that you can make money off of it. And to that point, now I know you're in California and we're being recorded right now, so I know you don't gamble on any type
no,
of.
would
You
never.
never would. You would never do it. On the East Coast, it is legal. And Carlos came in with a FanDuel app because he was on the East Coast. And I think you pay $5 to $10 and you get $300 worth of bets, basically,
As a promotional thing or
as a
whatever. Yeah.
promotional thing. Welcome to betting and stuff. And so on the Sunday night game and on the Monday night game, Carlos and I went through and found all of the most filthy parlays that we could put together and some of the most disgusting prop bets. And he just pressed me. And this is kind of to you speaking like, oh, how can I put this like knowledge to make money? And I remembered like, oh, Rashad Bateman
Ravens.
for the Ravens, thank you. For the Ravens, he just signed this deal. They're going to want to get him involved. And Carlos pressed me like, who do we add in this prop bet? And I closed my eyes. I go, it's in the stars, Rashad Bateman. It's Rashad Bateman. And we added him to like all of these prop bets and just nothing the whole night. And it was like, all we needed was Bateman. All we needed was Bateman. And it would get to the different parts of the game. It was an incredible game. The Bills and the
Yeah.
Ravens was back and forth, and it was like, okay, the Bills are going to run away with it. Wait a minute, here comes Lamar and Derrick Henry. Wait, okay, it's over. Okay, the Ravens are just going to run the clock out. Wait a minute, here come the Bills. Derrick Henry
Yeah.
fumbled, and every
Yeah.
time the Ravens would get the ball back, I would just yell, "It's in the stars! It's in the stars!"
Sure.
And Bateman never came through, and that's why I don't gamble. That's why I don't um
I think
try try to
I
make
did see
money
you in
off
the
of it.
group chats messaging. It's in the stars.
Yeah,
So
that was for Carlos. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I did see that on a couple of them. I love that. Love that. With the man, that's what you're chasing though, huh?
We
That's
did
always the
win. I
best
think
thing.
he ultimately in all of the bets, I think he did win a couple $100 after putting
Yeah,
in 5.
I think I saw he posted one of them. But doesn't he have to like win 300 to pull it out or something like that? You have to like win back. I don't know.
I
There's
don't
been
know.
some apps before where it's like they give you this amount of money, but you can't just pull it out. You can't just like, hey, here's this amount of money, like here's $300 to bet, and then you just
Mhm.
pull it out. Like it doesn't let you do that. Like
I
you have to
think
win three hundred
mhm.
dollars in bets to then be able to see it or whatever.
I think he pulled out like $200, right? So again, he only put in like $5 or $10, maybe
Hmm.
$25 max. I think he pulled out $200, and then the next night he came over on Monday night, and the Phillies were
Fully
playing.
addicted.
Exactly. And he's like, well, also he's like, he had this like mentality of like, same with what he was eating and stuff. He's like, I'm on the East Coast and I'm on vacation, you know? So it's like that mentality I could totally relate to. And so, yeah, it was kind of
A
bingey.
bender.
Yeah, binge. Yeah, exactly. And so we bet on the Phillies game. I told him, oh, they're playing the Mets. Nola has been awful. You gotta bet Mets. Phillies win 1-0. Nola shutout. Just incredible. Just like the worst gambler of all time. And he's asking me, we're just going over all these different bets, and I'm just giving him some of the worst advice that I think is good. I don't mean for it to be bad. I'm
Yeah.
just bad. This is why I don't gamble. But I'm like, dude, the Mets smacked them the last time they played, and now the Phillies and Mets are playing again. They're gonna,
Bounce
hey,
back.
yeah, yeah, and they bounced back. Which actually they're playing. I believe they're playing right now. They played tonight, and they're doing well. But they've been doing really good. I mean, I don't know if you want to transition into Phillies. I know that was sort of in the docket here. Was there any last
Yeah.
thoughts you had about fantasy or football? Some of the schedules or predictions coming up here, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, we can we could chat. I'm trying to think of some of the biggest highlights. I think the Bijan thing, just to shoot off the whole season, was just incredible. And
Yeah.
then it was just a slow bleed out from there. Was really my experience and takeaway from the whole the whole weekend. But yeah, I
For the
whole thing,
whole weekend.
for the whole weekend. That's where I'm at. But no, I feel like I've got like good teams still, but I'm just kind of like, oh, that's right. It's a long season. These
Mhm.
guys, like some of them showed, some of them didn't, and some of them I'm like, okay, like I forgot it looked like a solid game, but it didn't produce a ton of points. I'm like, I just gotta wait this out longer.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah, getting used to the pace of it, I think, is the biggest thing.
mhm.
But yeah, no, the Phillies. I caught a couple of highlights, and the other night looked like Schwarber is. It's funny. I don't keep up with the Phillies, but every once in a while I'll just get like a push notification or something, and it's always Schwarber with
Uh-huh.
some kind of milestone. And
He's having that
yeah,
kind of year. He's having that kind of year. He hit his 50th home run was the latest milestone for him. And he's only the second Phillies player to do that. The other one was Ryan Howard, and that was, like our childhood. Remember the
uh,
big lefty? It was either a home run or a strikeout for Ryan.
big
That's
guy.
what he was
Oh yeah.
doing. He had 58, and so Schwarber needs 8 more to tie the record for the Phillies.
How many games? How many games does he have left? I
Gosh, well,
mean,
we're September
with
10th
his
now, so I
with
think
his
we.
four run game, he just needs two more games, I guess, to really hit
Oh,
the
right,
the
right.
eight.
Yeah, he'll just hit. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah. Now the Phillies, as we speak, I mean, this will be old news when people listen to this. It is 11-2 right now on the Mets, and this is the third game. We're about to sweep them, which is great. That brings the magic number, so to clinch the playoffs and the division. I think after this one, it's great because when we play the Mets, it shrinks by 2. So I think it was 7, but
Sure.
because they're getting farther away, they get a loss, we get a win. I think it might be down to 5 games to clinch because we only have like maybe 15 or 16, 15 games left, maybe. Oh, I guess we play the Mets again. So a 4-game series, not a 3-game series. But we won 3 games in a row now. 1-0 to start. Then it was 9-3, and this is 11-2 right now. And they're like our biggest rival. Obviously, they knocked us off last year.
Which has got to be a big
Oh, sorry, 16 games left. Sorry, what was that? Really big what?
16. Oh wow, so he's got to get a home run like every other game.
Roughly. Right. On average, yeah.
That's going to be that's a tall task. That's a tall task to try and get that. Try to remember that. What is it? Bonds is the record with like 70, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's just the steroid era, it really
Yeah.
cast a shadow on where to
Because I
put
think like
people.
Sosa had like 60 something, and he was completely overshadowed um by
And
Bonds.
Mark McGuire. Yeah, it was like Mark McGuire
Right.
and Sammy Sosa who were like battling each other and then just quietly all by himself with like is just testosterone bursting through his veins was Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
I heard some like podcast, maybe it was like a former player, like maybe like Greg Maddox or someone talking about Bonds, and they go, they would only throw him maybe one fastball the whole game, and he would hit it for a home run. They wouldn't dare throw it to him. It was like intentional walk, and then eventually it was like, okay, well now the bases are loaded and we can't walk him,
Yeah.
and then they're like trying to do a curveball to make it look like it's a strike, but then sort of like trying to pitch around him, but he's like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna swing at it, and then it's like 3 balls and no strikes. The guy's got to throw something in there in the strike zone. He can't
Yeah.
walk someone here. One fastball, home run. There goes Bonds. And they're like, it was like steroids or not. He was like, it was like the greatest player to like. If you gave him anything over the plate, he was just smashing it through. Yeah.
Funny enough, maybe Greg Maddox actually had like a podcast or something because he had just had a story pop up on my feed where it was actually the catcher for Maddox who was
Mm-hmm.
talking, and he was talking about Maddox, and he was saying that they were up. I think he was on maybe the Braves at that time, and he was up like 9-1 or something on the Rockies, and he was going against Jeff Bagwell, and
Yeah.
he's pitching against Bagwell, and the catcher is going into this whole thing where he's like, The thing about Bagwell is you got to pitch away. You can't go
Mm-hmm.
inside with him. You got to paint that outside. You got to let him chase it. You can't go inside on Bagwell. And we always knew that. We always pitched it that way. We're up 9-1. It's probably 20, 30 games left in the regular season. And Greg gives me the sign to pitch into Bagwell. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, what are we doing? We never do this to Bagwell. And he just lays it in there, and Bagwell just rips it for a home run. And it's a solo shot. They get close it to 9-2 or whatever. They still win the game, and they get out of the inning. And Greg goes to the catcher and goes, "Just remember that they're a good team. Remember that pitch." And like 2 or 3 months later, in the playoffs, they're against the Rockies, and he gives him like the curve or like basically the counter to that pitch
Mm-hmm.
because he's like, he's going to wait on that pitch every
Mm-hmm.
time. He's going to wait on it. And so he ends up striking him out and just crushing him in the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs because, and it's this like, holy shit, Greg, like he's playing chess. Everyone else is playing like checkers or whatever. And he's just like, he was just planting seeds for
The
like
mind
two,
games,
3 months. Yeah.
the setup,
He
the
was
booby
so
traps.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was so good. He was giving up home runs to set up his position in the playoffs, which is just crazy. Like
He's
that's
had
crazy stuff.
Greg Maddox had some really great, and maybe it was the same podcast, but really great gems of like how he thought about the game,
Mm,
where he was like talking about those setups and those counters and everything. And he was like, you can't catch a fish if you don't put any bait on the line. So you have to have those fastballs up and in. You have to throw that first before you can even ever throw a changeup, you know? And he had this really interesting, I think it was that same catcher where like, and you kind of mentioned it in that story where typically the catcher is giving the signs 1, 2, 3, 3 away, where do you want it? And he's giving the signs to the pitcher. Apparently Greg would call the pitches, and it was based off of like some of them were really, really intricate where when the catcher threw the ball back, if he caught it away from his body and in the center, that meant he was going to throw fastball up. And then when he
mm.
caught it to and brought the glove to him, that was going to be like a different pitch. And then when he would like
Ugh,
rub his ear and stretch, that was going to be like the changeup. And then when he would like, so he was calling all of the stuff that was built into his routine or his ritual, his pre-pitch ritual was him actually calling signs to the catcher. And so the catcher would just watch him and be like, oh, okay, that's what we're throwing. And then so he knew where to like line up.
that's
So
crazy though. It's
yeah,
crazy no one picked up on it. Like
right,
I'm sure he had to constantly change them or whatever, but
right, right.
that's crazy. It's just such a different level. And like I think with baseball, you have so much more time and it's such a longer, slower pace. You kind of set those things up. I feel like the NFL does that too, where
Mm-hmm.
it's like you set up things like I was kind of talking about with like even Vic Fangio and like the defense and the corner. And it's like, okay, you can get beat on by that corner. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully next time we'll set it up for something else. But very interesting. Very interesting. I feel like that's a fun milestone for Schwarber. 50 is a nice round number.
Mm-hmm.
It's second all time on the Phillies is really cool. He like I would be devastated if he leaves the team now.
Yeah, because this is a contract year for him, and so he's clearly trying to get his money's worth because he looks like the best player on the team. He looks like a borderline MVP. If there wasn't a guy named Shohei Ohtani that does literally everything on the baseball field, he probably would be an MVP in the NL.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Phillies are looking really good right now, even though the Wheeler thing kind of stinks. Hopefully, some of the pitchers can kind of step up in his place. Otherwise, the team is looking really good. Bader, the center fielder they got, looks amazing. He looks really, really good. And
Yeah, he's the mullet guy. He cranked a home run, right?
he sure did. He looks like one of the Incredibles. Like if Jack was it Jack? Who's the son? Speedy
Dash?
one? If Dash grew up and became like the villain with the chin, so like a mix up of the incredible characters.
Sure.
Not the red hair. It's like the hair of Dash and kind of the face of like Mr. Incredible, but like the huge chin of the villain.
I love it.
Yeah. He's so funny
That's
when
great.
you watch his mannerisms on the field too, it's like even more incredible, like Mr. Incredible. It's very funny. He's very like flamboyant isn't the right word, but he's like over exaggerated in his he'll like back up to catch a fly ball, but he'll be backing up the whole way and back it up and just catch it and keep backing up and then like shake his hair out and throw it to the fan and then like high
He's
five and
having fun
chest
out
bump.
there. He's
My
having
God,
fun out
he
there. A
looks
little
so loose.
peacock.
He looks
Yeah.
so loose. Yeah, he's peacocking, like
He's
ass
peacock.
out, like just really, really getting into it. And he's got all the like his arm is covered in like a pink compression sleeve, and he's got like a pink or purple glove, not team colors at all. Totally just trying
Sure.
to peacock, you know? Yeah, like you said.
Just incredible. Just incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I saw that this weekend too. I know well from the weekend I know we chat a little bit about the wedding too, right? Or how did everything play out? It sounded like
Ah,
everything was a good time. You
great
guys, I got a
time.
couple inside jokes from the group chat, but I couldn't make it as you're not getting
Well,
everything, but
you're obviously dearly missed. I got so many questions about you.
I'm sure. Well, that's sweet. Oh, that's sweet. I appreciate that.
And they love the video. Obviously, I sent a video of reaction video to your video that you sent to them,
That's
which
right.
I haven't got to talk to you about it. Incredible. Incredible. Now, for the listener, Jake could not make the wedding. Jake and Lisa could not make the wedding. So you guys made like a whole reception video as if you were at the wedding in your backyard.
The
It was like you
Sarah.
guys dressed
Yeah.
up, the ceremony, the bride coming down, they stand up, you're doing the fake tears, some of your best acting. Then on the
Thank
dance
you.
floor, did you do it in post? Were the lights in post or did you have the lights?
So we ended up the lights were post, but we do have
Yes.
that art wall that has
I had a
the
big
strobe,
argument.
but
Yeah.
the colors were post. Lisa
Good.
really did some nice work. So I have to confess, I can't take full credit. I did see a similar video on Instagram. So
Hmm.
I saw something like it and I was like, oh my gosh, and it was months ago, but I was like, I want to do that for Max's because I know I can't make it. It would be really fun. So I put together a shot list Friday. Lisa gets home. We both dress up. I get a suit on. She gets a dress as if we're going to a wedding. And then I've got the shot list. She has a little tripod and
Hmm.
then her phone. And then we end up going out. It's like 5:36 by the time she gets home. We kind of film for like, I don't know, 45 minutes, hour or so. And
Hmm.
then she ends up editing for another like hour or so. And then we fire it off because I wanted to get it there. We were going to do it earlier in the week and then send it the day of. But then it, we we were too busy, and so we had to do it Friday, which was the day of the wedding. And so by the time I think he got it and you guys got it, it was probably like the end of the reception or
It was
like
perfect, Jake. It was
was it
perfect. It was,
nice?
I was very drunk. I stayed until the bitter end at this wedding
Uh,
and I helped carry up bags for the bride and groom up to their suite. I saw their suite. Very nice suite. Very nice suite. Great tub, great view. So I helped just carry up some stuff for them. We dropped it off and then we went downstairs to the lobby where people were still kind of drinking, fire pit. And then that's where we got the video from you guys and I showed it to Max and I watched Max watch it. Then Max did the same thing that Wendy did the night of his wedding, showing it to everybody there. He must have watched it like 3 or 4 different times. And then maybe on the third or fourth time, he goes, "This is such a good idea." He goes, "You could send this to all of his weddings." And then he had this epiphany. He goes, "Wait, has he sent this to other people? Have these?" He was like, "It's so good. You could send this to any wedding you can't go to because it says like the bride comes down and
I
not
know
like
Devin or
yeah, it doesn't say
Max
anyone's
or
name, right?" So then he
What's
started to get suspicious, like, oh, has he sent this to other weddings? This is like after 3 or 4 times of viewing it, basically.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
You know what is funny? I did like Lisa and I were chatting because we can't make Parker's either, and we were like, we could just send the video. but then we were like, shit, we've got to make another video now. Like we've set the bar so
Way too
high.
high.
We're like, this is. But I'm very happy. I wanted to go so badly, and I'm so happy. At least it made some kind of happy impact for Max and Devin.
Oh,
So
it did.
that's
Because
cool.
then, so here are the stories that I have from the wedding. So I have a couple of stories that I was waiting for the pod to tell. Great
Very excited.
reception. Gosh, Jake did a great best man speech. It was from the
We
heart.
did.
He did,
Good.
because the night before, he was saying, he was a bit drunk the night before the cocktail hour after rehearsal dinner. He was saying, as he's leaving, remember 50% of marriages end in divorce. And then his parents are divorced. Like, so it was like this, like, how is this going to go? It was a real wild card going into it. And I think maybe Wendy, his mom, edited some of it. She helped revise it. Just from the heart, funny, sentimental, really funny. Highlight of that was, and he goes, honestly, the best part of this is I will have John as a brother-in-law. So here's to me and John. And like that was like the toast kind of. So that was really funny. So that went great. We get on the dance floor and we're all dancing. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's real tuned up. And I'm very tuned up. As you know, I'm only drinking 12 times this year. So this was the eighth time I've had a drink this year. So it didn't take me much.
Are you saving a drink for New Year's? Or maybe I guess you could wait until the end of the anyway, we could get into that later.
You're right. I could do that. There's like 1 or 2 floating right now that are not dedicated. I have like your wedding, and I'm using it liberally over the weddings where I counted
a couple of days. It's like 1 week.
Yeah, it's like like a weekend. Especially for yours. Yeah, for yours, the whole thing counts as 1. Anyway, so I'm tuned up, get to the dance floor, chatting with people, Parker, the fantasy guys were all getting on, and Rhett is going on about how he loves, what did he call it? Stank rock? I think he called it stank rock.
What is that? What is that?
Ugly rock, but what he means is it's stuff that's commercially successful that people hate. Think Creed. But
I see.
Photos, a picture, no,
Nickelback.
photograph, Nickelback. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, those kinds of bands. And so I think Creed comes on, and you're talking about one of the whitest scenes you could see.
Wait. So is he pro or anti stank rock?
Loves stank rock. It takes over his body. He can't control himself when he listens to stank rock, and certain songs get inside of Rhett, and
they get inside of Rhett.
So, and now for the listener, that if you don't know our friend Rhett, sweetest guy, one of the sweetest guys we have in our friend group. He's been in our fantasy football league. When he says anything off the cuff, beautiful soul. And when he says anything dirty in any way, you're kind of like, whoa, because it's coming from him. It's more jarring. Yeah, it's very kind of jarring. And so some Creed song comes on, and the guys are singing along. Some of the dance floors kind of cleared out by this point. It's later in the night. It's just the group of think of our fantasy kind of group, those kind of guys, and some other periphery people around the dance floor. And the end of, we'll just call it Higher by Creed comes on, and it ends the song. Rhett is so into it. He grabs Dave's beer. He takes his beer. He chugs it in his face and around the group of everybody. And he looks at everybody and he smashes the beer on the ground in the middle of the dance floor. Glass shatters everywhere. It explodes on the dance floor.
Oh my God.
And everybody, because it's Rhett, he's the sweetest soul. Everybody was like, my God. And he's like, it was Creed. he like he like blacked out for a minute and then came to. And I did not see this. This was a story I heard because there was ripples. There was a murmur of, did you hear what happened? Did you hear what happened? Did you hear what happened? And I was at the bar. I was at the bar with his girlfriend, like talking about like getting together, maybe like, oh, we should do a double date with Rhett. And
Just
like,
sweetly, just
yeah, just like, oh my gosh, Rhett's the sweetest. And then he's in the other, just like we're chatting. And so I got to witness her go, what did Rhett do? Wait, what? And then she ran to the dance floor as we were talking. They live by like the Bucks County Playhouse. We're like, oh,
yeah.
there's a show. There's like a theater show we should all do. I'm like, great, I'll invite a friend and we can make a double date out of it. And yada yada yada. And she just goes, I gotta go. Like runs to the dance floor. I was like, what did you do? And so then that's what you probably saw in the group chat is it's like that was maybe at like 12 o'clock. At like 2 a.m, he sends a GIF in the group chat of just a character smashing a bottle in a diner. I don't know what the movie's from. I don't know what the reference is, but he just doubled down. He just doubled down. And he goes, what?
I
He
gotta,
goes, oh, it
I
was
gotta look it
just
up
so
now
funny.
because I saw it, but I had
And no context.
no
It doesn't
one.
make any sense. If you know the context, it was even funnier because he didn't apologize. He was doubling down. And again, it's
Yeah,
Rhett. You know how sweet he is. He
my
he must have
God,
just been so drunk. Oh God, it was so
that's
funny.
incredible.
And he's like talking because a couple drinks, this happens a lot at weddings. Somebody bumps an arm, a glass falls. So the staff was all ready to clean it up, and they had already cleaned up a couple other glasses in the night. And so he was like, they're ready for it. They know. And they're like sweeping it up, and they have like a towel that they're like stepping on, like, and they did clean it up very fast because that had been like the second or third bottle that had dropped or glass that had dropped. And he was like,
All red, yeah, all red. Oh my
oh,
God,
it was
that
very
is
funny. It was very, very
incredible.
funny.
That is so
Um,
good. I
yeah,
think, I think, I think we got to close on that. I think that was
yeah,
incredible. I think it's too
yeah.
good not to close on. There's a couple of things you might have wanted to hit, but boy,
That's a good
eh,
ending point. Yeah.
poor sweet rat. Well, perfect. I think what I'll do, I might keep this episode all together and do one episode. We didn't go super long. I kind of like it all together, so
For sure.
we'll kind of keep it together. But I think it'd be fun if we maybe do one more, maybe like a predictions. I'd love to, Alex. I know we're bad, but I'd love to see like maybe I'll make a list and you just pick who you think is going to win and lose, and we just keep track. I can
For
do
the
it
year. Pick'ems. Like a
for the
pick'ems, like a,
year
yeah. Okay.
like a pick 'em, and we just kind of go into it. So
We have a Thursday night game tomorrow. So one game tomorrow.
yeah, so we'll have to figure out. I'll try and do my best to release this either tomorrow or the next day, but I think it'll be something we throw in and trying to add throughout the week. I just want to get a cadence. I want to see what the cadence is like. And so if you've got ideas, let us know for sure about
Mhm.
when you listen to podcasts and what we should be kind of chatting with. I think next week we'll have a better idea of like reacting immediately when we don't have like a wedding going on and we're a little bit quicker to the draw and then maybe some predictions. So maybe like 2 episodes a week, something like that.
Love that. Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. We could talk more about it, but I think that was it, dude. I mean, gosh, Rhett, I think I saw some bottle rocket or some other
Yep.
gifts that make
Now they're
so
calling him
much more.
Bottle Rocket.
Yeah,
He's got a
yeah,
couple
yeah.
nicknames
This
in the
makes
group
far more
chat.
sense.
And I think this is a perfect time to play us out on some Creed here, and let's just throw that bottle on the ground here. Let's throw the bottle on the ground for
I
this
love it.
pod, huh?
I love it. And that's going yard. See you guys next time.